I wanted to see who was getting back in defense there. So there's an instance where Siakam shows an element of his game that shocked me. Siakam did read the cut, mid-air touch pass when he is on fire offensively. You would think he's going to take it and go straight up with it.
There's no defense for this, Nick. That was after a make.
I know. They were getting out and running all the time.
More Siakam, this time on defense with perfect timing to block Draymond's shot off the backboard.
Nick, you were up on Siakam throughout the season, especially as a defensive player. I love the comparison. If Toronto had more postseason success, we could talk about him developing a lot like Kawhi.
Well, keep in mind, they drafted him thinking they're going to have to go through LeBron every year. So they drafted him and the kid OG as guys that could guard LeBron in playoff series.
Yeah, and there were people high on him last year. I mean, they were high. They were smoking something to he was going to stop LeBron.
We got it. More from the finals now. Raptors beating the Warriors 118-109. First time the Warriors have lost game one of the finals under Steve Kerr. No Kevin Durant in this one, but Boogie Cousins did come off the bench, gave you 8 minutes, 3 points. Steph and Klay combined for 55 points. Wasn't enough, though. As the Raptors built a halftime lead, they would never relinquish. Still, Klay Thompson is sure that Golden State will bounce back.
We're not very familiar with this team, but that's no excuse. You know, it's still got to come out here, and our goal was to get one, and it's still on the table for us. So I know we'll respond like the champions we are.
All right, Nick, how do you expect them to bounce back in game two?
Well, I expect them to come back and win game two, if for no other reason than I've never seen them go down 2-0 in a series. We've seen them go down 3-1. That series, they split 1-1. We've seen them lose a series to Cleveland. That series, they were up 2-0. We've seen them go down 3-2 in a series against Houston. That series, it was 1-1. And that was the only other series they've played where they started on the road. The Warriors losing 2 games to start an NBA Finals would put them in such unfamiliar territory. The last 3 years, they were up 2-0 instead of being not down 0-2, up 2-0 first 2 games of the NBA Finals. But what do they have to do differently? A lot of it is what we saw in those highlights, what Chris pointed out. It's one thing to allow transition buckets off a long miss. Steph shoots a 3, long rebound out, and all of a sudden you got a 3-on-2. To allow transition buckets after a make shows that you were not ready for the intensity of the moment of the NBA Finals, which is a little inexplicable given the fact that your team's played in nothing but NBA Finals. Like everyone out there's played in these NBA Finals for your team. For the guys on the other roster, the last time any of them played in NBA Finals was Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard 5 seasons ago. So I expect the Warriors to bounce back in game 2. I expect them to have a similar game plan for Kawhi Leonard. Now, if Pascal Siakam all of a sudden is going to be the second best player in the series, then that could change some math for Golden State. But I expect Golden State to, at the very least, even if you don't think they're going to win game 2, to come out with a better intensity on both sides of the ball than they showed last night.
Does the approach change as far as Steve Kerr does what he does with adjustments, having seen what Pascal Siakam does? Do they guard Kawhi differently? They managed to hold him in check last night?
Well, this is the thing. We haven't talked about Golden State making adjustments because they've been so dominant. But in that dominance, yes, they do make adjustments. They will be more sound on their rotations defensively. But there are certain things that they shouldn't be surprised about, because Nick Nurse surprised everyone as far as the pace of the game, them getting the ball out. So I expect them. You're not going to be able to throw the ball over their head, and they did that several times for easy looks, or that was converted to an easy look by a Raptor. So I expect them to do that. But Marc Gasol, Siakam, I don't expect him to get 32 again, but Marc Gasol in his last 3 games against the Warriors, when he was with Memphis, he averaged 27-9, shot 52% from the field, 62% from 3. So he has had some success going against the Warriors. So yes, the Warriors will make some type of adjustment. Do we expect Kawhi to just have a normal game again, him and Kyle Lowry? So they will be on the attack in game number 2. So the biggest concern for me is not the adjustments. It's not Steve Kerr. He will have them buttoned up. I don't think it was the intensity. I just think basketball is a game that is better off played on a regular basis. The 9 days off, we have seen series year after year, it hurts the team with the layoff. You get into a rhythm, and that was the advantage Toronto had. The atmosphere was second to none. But can they? Andre Iguodala, can they substitute those minutes? What if they're missing him If he's the primary defender on Kawhi, Alfonso McKinney, how many minutes does he have to play? Is he offensive enough? What type of rotation are they going to have? So I believe they'll make those adjustments. My thing is Andre Iguodala, that injury to him, what will adjustments they have to make with those minutes if he's potentially either hurt for a long period of time, or if he's limited, do they bring him off the bench and have someone else start the game?
And it really does appear, now that we have a few weeks window to look back, that they used the bit of gas Andre had left, they used against Houston. And they needed every last bit of gas against Houston. They needed his defense. In Game 6, he hit 5 3-pointers. He has not made a 3-pointer since Game 6 against the Houston Rockets. Those shots are coming up short, which usually means your legs are not exactly where you want them to be. And if Iggy is limited or not playing, now all of a sudden, you're running out of people. You're running out of people. You're running out of playmakers. Then it is that Alfonso McKinney, who 3 years ago this week was playing in the secondary league in Luxembourg, is a NBA Finals starter.
He might be starting Sunday night.
Right. I mean, I think you think he will be starting Sunday night.
I mean, Iggy, it didn't look good. His calf, he strained it again. And let's not forget, not only the 9 days off, but he missed part of Game 3, missed all of Game number 4. Like, he's been resting to not be able to finish that game when he tried to explode, because in round number 2, I was bragging about Andre Iguodala. Man, he's leading the playoff in dunks.
Right.
Man, the explosiveness, and you mentioned it. We might have got all that he had getting out of that Houston series.
Is there a chance that perhaps because of what happened last night, you rush Clay back, you try to get Boogie back in? Does a guy like Clay have to step up and be the guy now and give you more than 21?
So I don't think they're going to rush Durant back. I think that is one that we'll see. Durant's not going to play in Game 2. I mean, I feel like we know Durant's not playing in Game 2. We'll see what happens in Game 2.
Regardless of whatever happens with Iggy.
I don't think you can. Just Steve Kerr's been adamant about what the process is. And by the way, Kevin Durant is also, the calf is connected, if I'm not mistaken, to the Achilles, and he is about to be a free agent, and this is super high-level intensity. You can't tell Kevin Durant, go out there at 50%. So, like, right, I mean, this is something where that could lead to, right now he has a significant-ish injury. You can't rush him back and have it be a career-altering injury, which a popped Achilles can be. But the last name you mentioned is the name that, to me, is the most noteworthy for game number 2. Klay Thompson now. Klay Thompson, we've said before on this show, he's got the best deal in sports. He gets a max contract. When he plays great, we all talk about, man, if Klay had his own team, look at what he would be. And when he doesn't play great, we talk about other guys.
We do.
Klay,
it's amazing.
It's the greatest deal in sports. Like, I feel like there's part of Kevin Durant that wishes he got to be that guy. Like, I get all the money. When I'm awesome, I'm awesome. When I'm not, nobody cares. Klay wasn't bad yesterday, but he has to put his impact on the game, and Toronto recognized what I'm surprised more people haven't recognized over this Warriors run. Klay Thompson cannot dribble. He can't dribble.
Not well.
I mean, he can't dribble without his head being down. There was the play where he had the dunk. He took 7 steps because he didn't want to dribble. They started picking him up full court when he had the ball. You said it before the show. It looked like I don't want to be disrespectful, but it looked like a junior high team that's not dealing with a press well, where it's like, oh, man, I got to just dribble to the sideline and try to throw it to somebody. Klay's got to be great. When Kevin Durant's not out there, Klay and Steph have to be 2015, 2016 Splash Brothers, where they're both a threat for 35, not just Steph.